What is up guys, Stark here, back for day 3 of the 25 Days of Fate, and in today's video, we will be doing the character spotlight for the caster of Okeanos. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this character, so let's just go ahead and just jump right into it. So she is going to be a 4-star caster that's going to be coming out in the banner for the new Singularity along with Nezha, and like I said, I don't think she's that good. So at level 80, she will have 12,250 HP and 8,671 attack. This will rank her 53rd overall in HP and 114th overall in attack. Her star absorption is 51, her star generation is 10.8, and her noble phantasm generation on her attacks is going to be 0.39, and on defense it will be 3%. Alright, so the main reason why I don't like her that much is because she doesn't really do that much in my opinion. So her first skill is going to be the Rapid Words of Divine B. This will charge her Noble Phantasm gauge, and yeah, this is a full Noble Phantasm gauge, 120%. It is on a 7-turn charge time though, and that is really long. So yeah, having a full Noble Phantasm charge is fantastic, but the 6 turns you have to wait in between that means you're probably not going to be using her Noble Phantasm very often, and her Noble Phantasm is not that great overall either, so it really doesn't benefit her that much in the same way that, let's say, Nezha would, because she has an AoE Noble Phantasm, so at least you could use her for farming. The caster of Okeanos has a single target Noble Phantasm, so it really doesn't help her as much as, you would probably like it to. But we will talk about her Noble Phantasm later on. For now, her second skill is going to be the Poisoned Meal A. This will inflict poison to all enemies for 3 turns. This will also reduce the defense of all enemies for 3 turns. So this one is pretty nice actually. You do get that dot damage for poison with 1000 HP every turn for 3 turns, and you do get a 20% reduction in defense. So that's really nice. It is on a 5-turn charge time, so you're going to be able to recycle this skill quite often. So this skill overall is pretty good, I would say, but she doesn't really have anything else in her kit that kind of really backs it up. So it's very interesting. So moving on to her third and final skill is going to be the Advice for Sailing A. Now, this skill is really helpful. You'll be able to increase your critical star drop rate for 3 turns for all of your allies, as well as removing all of the debuffs for all of your allies. So this is a very helpful skill, especially if you're going up against a boss that has debuffs. It is on a 6-turn charge time, which isn't too bad, and you'll get a 50% increase to your critical star drop rate for 3 turns for all allies. So yeah, overall that is a very good skill. But again, she has nothing to back it up. You're removing the debuffs, which is fantastic, and she'll see play if you have to have those debuffs removed just because of that. The critical star drop rate increase is also very nice, but she herself doesn't really do anything. So she's more of a support character that doesn't necessarily really support anything. I know that's a weird way of doing it, but she just basically increases critical star drop rate, and for 3 skills to only really achieve that is a little bit of a letdown in my opinion. Yeah, obviously she does have other effects, but nothing really stands out outside of that and debuff. So like her third skill is pretty much the only thing that carries this character. The poison is okay. You could definitely combo that with other characters like Robin Hood and Shuten Doji, but as a caster, like, you have to want to use her over literally 10 other casters in the game that you could probably make better use of, and that's kind of why she just falls really flat for me personally. She doesn't offer too much that warrants using her over anyone else. Now yeah, I guess if you don't have some of the other casters, then you might just be able to use her and make it work, but you could literally just not even take a caster, just take a friend caster and you'll be fine. Like, I don't know, I don't see the benefits really of using her outside of like a gimmick team or something where you're intentionally trying to use like poison on the team just to nuke enemies. But yeah, so she does have 2 passives though. The Territory Creation B, which will increase your arts card effectiveness by 8%, and she also does have the Item Construction A, which will increase your debuff chance rate by 10%. So overall, I do think her skills are decent, but really not that useful overall in the grand scheme of things. So I am going to give her 3 stars in skills. In my opinion, they're just not that good. They don't offer that much to the team composition that really wants you to use her overall in the game. It might be a little bit harsh there. There's probably teams out there that you can make it work in that I'm just overlooking, but for right now, the initial look, it doesn't look too good for me. The debuff removal is fantastic, definitely fantastic. I don't want to sell that short, but yeah, just nothing stands out for me overall, so I'm just not a big fan of the kit. So moving on to her command cards, she has 1 quick, 3 arts, and 1 buster, and the hit counts on those are going to be pretty decent. 3 hits on the quick and arts, and then 2 hits on the buster with 4 hits on her extra attack. So overall a decent deck there. She does have the 3 arts cards to help with her Noble Phantasm generation just a little bit. As for her Noble Phantasm, it's going to be a buster Noble Phantasm that will deal damage to a single enemy, and this will also transform them into a pig for 1 turn. And then on the overcharge, you have the chance to decrease the critical rate for a single enemy for 3 turns. So yeah, this Noble Phantasm is solid. It's nothing special. You're going to do a pretty decent amount of damage with it, and turning the enemy into a pig is basically like stunning them. So I guess that's just a cool little variation to being stunned. But overall, this Noble Phantasm is nothing special, much like this character in my opinion. It kind of just doesn't do enough for me to make me really like this character. So for damage, they are going to get 3 stars, and that might actually be a little bit generous just because of her Noble Phantasm. She's a caster, so she has naturally low damage multiplier, and she doesn't have any sort of buffs to her attack at all. She doesn't really have any sort of support for any sort of offensive capabilities. Yeah, you do increase your critical star drop rate a little bit, but overall you're not going to be doing any damage with this character. For her critical ability, she's also going to get 3 stars. Outside of the 3rd skill, which I just mentioned, she doesn't have any sort of support for crits, and she doesn't really even have any natural support for crits herself, with her absorption and her generation being pretty mediocre. So she really can't get anything higher than 3 stars there. For her Noble Phantasm, she will be getting 3.5 stars. It's an okay Noble Phantasm, does pretty solid damage, and it does have a chance to stun by turning them into a pig. But overall, it's nothing special. It does have the 1st skill there, being able to get a full charge to your Noble Phantasm, so it definitely needs to get a bump of points because of that, because you could just use skill 1, Noble Phantasm, and that's a good combo. Her Noble Phantasm is just not that special overall, and you do have to wait 6 turns after using it in order to use her Noble Phantasm again. So it's not going to get too much of a bump in points, but it will definitely get 3.5 stars. And then for her survivability, she'll also get 3.5 stars. This is mostly due to the fact that she just has inherently high HP, ranking in like almost to the top 50 in the game. She doesn't really have anything else to support herself as far as defense, evasion, or healing, or anything like that. So once she's down, but she does have somewhat high HP, so I do give her a bump in stars because of that. And then for her versatility, I am only going to give her 2.5 stars. Let me explain though, this does seem a little bit low. She does have her 3rd skill to remove debuffs, and if you do need that, she's a very good option. But outside of that, she doesn't offer anything that you wouldn't be able to get from really any other casters. With the exception of the poison. The poison is definitely something to look at if you're going for poison teams. So in that situation, you definitely could use her. And again, if you need to remove debuffs, you could use her as well. But she's a very, very, very specific character. And again, you probably would just take some sort of other caster into your team instead of her. So overall, that will give her a 3.1 out of 5. Definitely not one of my favorite characters in the game. She does look cool, which is a bit of a shame, but I'm not going out of my way to get this character at all. If I get her, I'll level her up, I'll use her, I'll make some teams with her, but I'm not really, I won't be terribly thrilled or excited or anything like that. If I get her, I get her. If I don't, I won't be missing anything. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up this character spotlight, guys. I hope I wasn't too harsh, so if you do like this character, I apologize. But if you did like the video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I do have the links below to my Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, and Discord, so feel free to check those out. And as always, throughout the month of December, I will be doing my giveaway, so feel free to check that video out. The link to that will be in the description below. I think that's about everything here. I will leave you with the caster of Okeanos' Noble Phantasm, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
待たせたね、私の愛しいピグレットたち。宴を張ろう、共演を開き、客人をもてなそう。さあ、暴れのみ、鈍色せよ、メタボピグレッツ